get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back.
Hey y'all, hey, what's up? What is up? What is up? Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Hey Volvo, hey Slash Sylvia, hey China White. So I took a shower this morning. I have been exfoliating. I'm back from Miami, y'all. So let me show y'all what I found this in Miami. Actually, my cousin gave it to me, and I have been exfoliating with it. I do some product placement for people I don't even know, but the way this junk been having my skin feel all weekend. Dear God. Oh, it's so good. So I've been using this. It helps with my horribly dry skin. And it smells so good, and it's good. Yeah. My cousin said make sure you get the one that says coconut oil. I think this is the one she said. Yeah, this is the one for dry skin. But my skin can be horribly dry. And I have been exfoliating. Hey Tabitha. Hey Abby. Child, it's good, Abby. Trust me. And I don't even promote all that kind of stuff. Hey Jamie Dupree. Hey Dee Dee's the bestest. Hey Spicy Original. Hey everybody as y'all come up in the room. We're gonna talk some things. Some people will probably come on and want it. And the link, can I get one of the mods to post the link if anybody wants to come on and add to this conversation? Because I'd like for it to be a conversation, but there are some things that we will be discussing today that I see one friend already in the background. Do you have on clothes, young man? Can you put a thumbs up if you're ready? Oh dear God. Thank God I did not have him up. Because y'all don't want to even know what this young man just showed me. Dear God. Oh, let me put him on screen before he shows something else. You're on screen, sir. Please don't get up and show your hind parts. God.
Why are you always trying to ruin my good name?
Hey, little baby. Hey, Rashawn Murph. Hey, everybody, as y'all come in the room. God. Y'all see what I got to deal with? Do y'all see the
Can
level
I
of
about this lie
foolery?
first? This lie that you just told
What lie?
about taking a shower.
Where's the lie, sir? Where's the lie?
You shower.
You gonna just go make me descendant from the Caucasus Mountain? You gonna make me white like the white people who don't bathe? Anyway, let's get going. So um, last week, uh, I almost said the baby. I'm looking at little baby. I almost said the baby, even though the baby did come up. Uh, Dave Chapelle thought it not robbery enough to release yet another comedy, you know, a comedy video or whatever, his comedy's latest comedy routine is on Netflix. I think it is the last of the ones he has to do for his contract with Netflix because he says he's allegedly going on hiatus or not going to be doing any more on Netflix and or retire. I don't know. He's doing something. Anyway, um, as is customary, he did say some things about some of everybody. He jabbed at all communities, which comedians tend to do. Um Once again, he came at the LGBTQ plus community, the Rainbow Coalition, as we like to call them around here. And he's done that in the past. If you remember last his last comedy routine, he had the whole metaphor of the car where they were all driving in the car and one person was in the front seat and the back seat. All he had that whole thing there. So and let me start off by saying there are members of every pop community and group that love Dave Chappelle. And there are members of every group that love his comedy. And the history of comedy and comedians is going there, pushing buttons, saying things that people want to say out loud but can't. Like that's really the history of a lot of comedy. Things that people know they can't get away with saying out loud and in public. Sometimes comedians are given, a pass and allowed to do that for the sake of um comedy. In my estimation, the problem comes if the people with which are the brunt of your joke have a problem with it, then you probably should stop. I.e., when white people during the years of minstrel videos used to do blackface videos and used to do and make comedic videos about black people. Once the black community said, hey boo, we don't want that, we don't like that, that was when white people had to say, oh well, we probably should stop that. And if I don't, now I am openly offending that group of people who have told me they don't like me doing that, even if it is for comedy. Um, so I just want to start there. Now, I have been asked by several people to unpack and discuss what Dave Chappelle said. I hadn't even watched the special. I went and watched the special. They said, "Do you really want to talk about that?" I really want to, and I said, "I really don't want to touch that because once you start to touch that, like I told Ty earlier, it's like you're touching a wound that has not healed, and as soon as somebody touches you, go, ooh, because it unpacks and touches a lot of stuff in the Black community that we talk about, but we have not even tried to work on embracing. All right, so I want to show you first the video, not show you, but let you hear, because I'm not going to show the video, but I'm going to let you hear the video first. That made me say, let me click this button and talk about this, because there's a girl on TikTok who made a TikTok video about Dave Chapelle and his comments toward the the community. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me get it set up. Okay, I think I got it set up. So this is, I can't read that. I'm not gonna even give her credit, but there's a Black woman. This is a Black woman, okay? This is a Black woman who is who made this video about Dave Chapelle and the community, okay? Here we go. Oh, I should tell you, well, no, I'll say, well, let me preface. She made this video because the National Black Justice Coalition has asked Netflix to pull Dave Chappelle's The Closer special over comments deemed transphobic. So she heard that the National Black Justice Coalition had asked that his comments be taken down. I mean, that his special be pulled, and this is her response.
Black people. Now, y'all know I had to do some research because what we're not about to do is let some Black organizations that we've never heard of and never seen in the Black community come out and try to tear down one of the only Black celebrities who have the courage to speak on the bias and the catering to that the LGBTQ community receives from the media. Now, all Dave Chapelle did was give an example of how it's okay in American culture, society, and media for rappers to promote violence in the Black community towards Black men, but it's not okay to even slightly offend the LGBTQ community.
Google it. The baby shot and killed in Walmart in North Carolina. Nothing bad happened to his career. Do you see where I'm going with this? In our country, you can shoot and kill a but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings.
Now, the National Black Justice Coalition claims that Dave was somehow perpetuating transphobia, which perpetuates violence, and that 2021 is on track to be the deadliest year on record for transgender people in the United States, thus justifying Netflix to be able to cancel his show. Now, Black people, I have to go look this up myself because the way they're canceling folks who speak on anything about the LGBTQ community, I thought I was about to see transgender people being killed in the hundreds and the tens of thousands. Literally, 28 transgender people have been killed so far in 2021. I tell you, I cannot make this up. 28. According to Forbes, 350 transgender people were killed in 2020, and only 28 of those deaths happened in the United States. Now, don't get me wrong, any life that's lost unjustly is unacceptable, but this doesn't even make up 1% of the amount of Black women who died in 2021 and 2020, or the amount of Black men who died or were killed by the police. Are you kidding me? Now, these 4 Black women and girls are murdered per day in the United States. 75,000 Black girls and women are missing in the United States. I haven't seen the LGBTQ community coming out and crying about how Black rappers and Black celebrities should be canceled for degrading Black women, and they are dying at higher rates, extremely higher rates than transgender and the LGBTQ community. Why don't y'all ever talk about the violence that the LGBT community is committing against each other? Because apparently domestic violence is happening at even higher rates than heterosexuals. There's never any outrage about Black men and Black women dying, about the conditions that our community is in. due to the perpetuating of violence in our music. It's up to us to make our communities safe and decent places to live. So we are going to continue to fight for Black masculinity, because last time I checked, Black men are the only ones who are going to protect Black women. It certainly won't be the LGBTQ community. So Dave was absolutely correct. Black people. Now y'all know I have to do
That was the video that I saw this morning that made my brain go, oh, there's a lot there. What? There were, tired. You see, I'm gonna. That's not all I got to play for y'all this morning. I just want to give you context. Let's really put it out there. Here is so you can hear another part of the stand up that he did on trans community. Child Tabitha, I know you gonna have a whole lot to say about that part. Child Tabitha, Abby, y'all have the link if y'all want to click here. But here is Dave Chappelle's what part of what he said also in the stand up.
I am not
Hold on.
saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those pussies that they got, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's not pussy, but that's like beyond pussy or impossible pussy. It tastes like pussy. That's not quite what it is. It's not blood, that's beet juice.
Now, if I didn't show the video, but immediately the camera pans to what looks to be either some white women or some white trans women that were in the audience that had this stone cold look like, I know the fuck you didn't just go there, on their face. That is during the comic. That's part of his that's part of the special. Y'all heard the part where he talked about little the baby. He also defended J.K. Rowling, and we know she's had some comments against the trans community. So he kind of went out and defended both of them, you know, suggesting you know, certain things that well, here's another news broadcast that I saw about it.
I'm not saying it to be mean. Say it because
Dave Chapelle isn't shying away from controversial topics in his new comedy special, The Closer. During the hour-long show, which premiered Tuesday, October 5th on Netflix, Chappelle addressed the offensive comments DaBaby made on stage at Rolling Loud Miami earlier this year towards the LGBTQ plus community and individuals living with HIV, telling the crowd, part of the LGBTQ plus community doesn't know DaBaby's history. He once shot 19-year-old Jalen Craig and killed him in Walmart. This is true. DaBaby shot and killed a man in Walmart in North Carolina. Nothing bad happened to his career. You see where I'm going with this? In our country, you can shoot and kill a man, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings. While chatting with Billboard back in 2019, DaBaby said he didn't feel bad for shooting the man. He said, not at all. From my end, it was unavoidable. It wasn't my action, it was my reaction. At the end of the day, my family was right there, my daughter. So hell no, I don't get no sleep. But this past July, a person claiming to be Craig's cousin reportedly called the rapper out in a since-deleted Twitter post, writing, now that so many are apt to cancel him, are we ready to talk about the murder he committed in November 2018? Adding, he lied and said that Jalen was trying to rob him and that he shot in self-defense. DaBaby is a killer and a menace. They concluded the post, not only did DaBaby kill Jalen, he's perpetuated a lie that continues to assassinate Jalen's character and tarnish his good name. Well, my family and I have had enough. For more on this story, head to billboard.com. This is Billboard News.
All right, so yeah. Yeah. Hi. Good morning, sir.
You
We
woke
got
me
a lot
up.
going on.
Me up to be a part of this conversation.
Well, let me say this. The girl who we heard in the beginning had so much there and so much to say that it was just so out of order. Because now you're comparing the numbers of trans people that died and comparing that to the number of the black community that died when we know the population dwarfs one. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to even go to the idiocy of that comment, because what you're saying is because there's less of these people, their plight is not as bad. I mean, that's easy for you to say if you're not in that community, because that's the same rationale that white people sometimes make for black people. The fact that we are a minority and there are much fewer of us than them, that the population should care more about them than they do about us as black people. Then there was the whole anybody go talk about how the LGBT community has violence against each other. Really? I'm not gonna even dignify her with that. I'm not gonna even because y'all already know. And then she claims, now this is where I really want to know. Ladies, y'all gonna have to help me with this. She claimed that the only people out here that's gonna save the black women is black men. Oh, what do y'all want me to do with that? What do y'all want me to? She's like an idiot. And then she went on this whole thing about where was the, I don't see the LGBTQ community out there with dot, 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 dot. I said, and I'm like, yeah, you do. Whenever there's a protest or there's ever anything that is protesting civil unrest, civil rights, and justice within the black community, we're there on the front lines. We always have been there. What are you talking about? Like, what? My question is this. First of all, if you want to say, come out and say, oh, I don't feel like Dave Chapelle should be canceled because I think as a comedian, he should have the right to do that. That's one argument that you can have for whatever reason. But when you want to sell your argument by putting down a group of people and telling why they are not worth attention or why they are not worth someone um fighting for them, or they're not even worth being heard when they tell you, hey, I don't like that you said that, that hurt my feelings, then that's a problem. Child.
If you don't tell people what offends you or hurts you or gets you mad, they're going to continue to do it. And at a point where we still, yes, gay people have made tremendous strides lately, I'll say in the last decade probably, but still we are far behind the curve. And it's just almost so, it's such a sensitive, it is like a sore, like you were saying. It's like it's so sensitive that we just don't need anybody else putting any disparaging words or doubt in other people's mind about us and our causes that are 100% valid and should be heard.
I think too, like I said earlier, you don't get to tell a group of people what does and does not offend them or what should and should not offend them.
Right.
Like I started off this live saying, back in the day when they were making those minstrel films and white people were putting on blackface for the purpose of comedy and entertainment, and black people said, I know the fuck you lying. We don't like that shit. It's not funny. It's offensive as hell. Don't do that shit. And it took a very long time for that stuff to start to be weeded out of comedy. It's still being done today. And we're still fighting that fight. But when we see it, we categorically say, yeah, that's not funny. I don't take that as being comedic. It's offensive to me. I'm not going to do that. And so my thing is this. If you know, in addressing the topic at hand with Dave Chapelle, if you know you've said some things in the past, and there have been people saying things about some of your comedy in the past, like, hey, Dave, when you cancel it, you're just going a little too far with some of them. You need to kind of, take it a little easy on that. And when your response each time is, I know y'all told me to take it easy, but here we go. And now it's just like, okay, I know I shouldn't do that, but if it's gonna make me a coin, I'm gonna take making this coin as opposed to sparing your feelings. Oh, here's my sweet Abby. And I want to say, I completely expect there's going to be a lot of varying opinions on it within the Black community. Because like I said, this is that sore that when we really start to press it, go, ooh, ouch, that hurts. And we haven't. And watch it. I see Really B said it. I see Quintessential said it. Because so many people come into the conversation and say, yeah, my thoughts are probably not the usual thoughts. So let me sit this one out because I don't want to offend anyone. And let me preface by saying, if you come up here, you have comments, I don't want you to think that your comments are taken offensively. I do think that an apparatus or a platform to have a discussion about the varying viewpoints, because there are varying viewpoints. And because there are varying viewpoints. And people do feel different ways about all of it. Some people may say, yeah, El Teddy, I hear what you said, but this is how I feel. Or they might say, yeah, the girl did have a point about ... A, B, and C. And I don't have a problem with that. But if there's always I think I'm going to sit this one out, that discussion then excludes what could be an important angle, what could be a part of the conversation that needs to be unpacked. And yeah, I don't know.
What?
Hi there.
Hi. Bear with me because my voice is 2 services yesterday.
You sang it yesterday. I know. I barely got a voice from this weekend, so.
You in the senior choir?
Oh yes, I'm on the praise team. Not the singing choir. Okay, so first, the fact that little girl is under the delusion that Black men are going to protect us, somebody needs to check on her and see if she's okay.
Because I was like, what? We need to protect black. See, I knew it was South. She tried to start off by trying to make herself sound real intelligent, but then when she started to protect Black masculinity and Black, I said, what?
If you don't sit your pick me, we was going in the right direction, daughter, and you took a hard left, and we was all looking at you. You just had to fuck this up. Then you just had to.
What is happening?
Black masculinity has nothing to do with
it could never be jeopardy. I mean, it could never be in jeopardy. If you're a Black masculine man, that's who the fuck you are.
Exactly. That's not how that works.
No.
Listen, as pertains to the comparison of trans women who have undergone surgery being real meat versus beyond belief burgers. I'm a cisgender woman, so I can't tell who to be offended by it. It did not offend. The comparison did not offend me in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Not really.
I can. If you're transgendered and you are upset by that, you have every right to be, but you can't then turn around and tell me what I should be offended by.
Or how to express, because fact is fact, and he basically saying it's not the same vessel.
It's not the same thing, and I've seen lately it's a lot of, and I think we said this the last time we were live together, El Teddy, about my trans sisters trying to invalidate cisgendered women in order to prop themselves up to be considered more real, I guess, is what they're. I don't know, because
I don't know either. I don't understand that the necessity of putting down a group in order to bring yourself up. Why can't we just all be on a plateau? Everybody wants to be a pyramid where there's only room for one at the top, and you have this pyramid effect, as opposed to there being a plateau where all of us can sit up there. At the same time.
I am not. I'm not offended by being called cisgendered. I don't get offended by being called AFAB. None of that offends me because
wait, AFAB?
That's what
assigned female at birth.
Oh my God.
See, you just taught me. Never even heard that before. And
I only know because that's a term that was used when I was reviewing Dragula. They had a cisgendered woman, and she said she was AFAB, and I had to figure out what that meant. And it just means that you were assigned female at birth. Because people are trying. They're trying so hard to twist and turn gender identity and your sexual organs and what makes you a man or a woman. And I know that when the Lord put me in my mother's womb and the razzle dazzle happened between sperm and the egg, I turned out to be a girl, and I got girl parts, and that's just what it is. It took me a minute to figure out what cisgendered meant. And by the time I figured, somebody explained what cisgendered was to me, because I was doing a Dragula review, and I was referring to myself as a biological woman in terms of talking about a transgendered woman saying, well, I myself as a biological woman. And it was like, somebody jumped in my comments and was like, saying that you're a biological woman is offensive to transgendered women, and you should refer to yourself as cisgendered.
Listen, and this goes back to, like I said, everybody always thinks that the Rainbow, I say this all the time over there, the Rainbow Coalition is just lumped together by people that want us to be lumped together. That doesn't mean that they all have the same mentality, ideology, thoughts, processes, and experiences. Specifically going to Dave Chapelle, and I just think that the problem that people have is, if we've told you that in the past, hey, we like you, we don't have no problem with you, but can you lay off, the jokes about the community, and you continue at every fail swoop to say, well, I could, but yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. It makes things,
not to say that we can't be joked about or laughed at or picked on or whatever. Not picked on, but not to say you can't tell a joke about a gay person or gay people. But it's just it's a thin line between, and especially when your audience or some of your audience may not be able to disseminate between joke and
being nasty and offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just take that and continue with that, fuck them homos type of mentality.
I'll say like this: if you are a comedian, some of the best comedians make themselves the butt of the joke. If you go talk about a group, you talk about the group that you know you fall into, and you can speak to more so of how that may offend or how that may be funny. And even though members of that group along with you may not agree, you got a little more leeway because you have the full experience of being that. But if a white person come on here and start doing a whole lot of jokes about black people and they're not black at all, can't live the black experience, but want to start telling jokes in the vein of, oh, let's just say if a white person made a joke and said, well, some of them black women, they love straightening their hair. It ain't quite our hair, but it's a close substitution to our hair. They do the best they can to get close to that our hair, but they always gonna have big naps. They ain't gonna never quite be on.
It's just for being
Maybe if a white person said that, there would be hellfire up and down everywhere. There'll be hellfire to pay.
Right. But my issue is people are watching the special already offended before they even get to anything that he says. Because I've seen some headlines talk about he wished death on trans people and he said their bodies was disgusting and blah, blah, blah. That man never said any such a thing. He did not say that. But that's what you heard because you came in with a preconceived notion that he was going to say something nasty and rude about transgender people. Like, I have seen something like the most horrible headlines. It's like, he should be canceled. And I'm like, wow, did you even... So you didn't watch the special at all? Or you just wasn't paying attention to what was being said? Or
I didn't even know he had one until...
I didn't know it happened either until I saw people was like, cancel him! And he's horrible! And I was like, oh God, well, let me go... Before I make a post about anything, before I say anything, let me take myself over there and watch it. Now, there were several things that I found very funny. There's some things I was like, ooh, yeah, I would maybe not would have not say it.
Right.
The story at the end that he told about his transgender friend who was bullied by the trans community for defending him, and that ended up unaliving themselves was very. I thought it was a beautiful story, and how he is he set up a trust fund for that person's child and all that other stuff, but some of the charges being lobbed at him are just simply not. I didn't find it to be true of the special that I saw.
Like I said, I watched it.
Tabitha, that's why I was stuck right there too.
Yeah. Like I said, I watched it, and I'm not trans, so that I can't speak to whether or not the trans community should or should not be offended. I was offended by him trying to compare why the baby got canceled, and which means that you are doing okay, let's see which is worse, talking about the black community or talking about the LGBTQ community, and why can't they both be bad? You know what I'm saying? Why can't both of them? So that was the part that kind of stuck out to me when I watched this travesty of a video this morning with the girl from TikTok. Because there's a lot of the black community that is lockstep and key with what she said and will proliferate every single word. And here's where it's gonna get real uncomfortable. You want to know why? And I'm gonna just put this out there and let the landmine go where it goes. You want to know why such a large percentage, in my estimation, of black people go so hard against the Rainbow Coalition because there's their own sort of form of supremacy that they can have. Black people can't wield white supremacy because we don't have that.
We don't.
But if I can emulate that and flex on another group of people that I may feel that are beneath me, I will do that because that will make me feel better about my plight and myself. And I will always feel like, well, I might be black, we might be dealing with that, but we ain't them. And we are above them. And we're gonna make sure we continue to let them know. And that's why I keep saying, why does there have to even be the comparison? Why can't we all? Because all black people are being, killed. I mean, did the girl forget that there are a lot of trans people that aren't even talked about that get murdered?
Right. That
They
is
may not
not
even outwardly be identifying that way. And so when they're murdered, they're not even classified
and
as trans, even
right.
though they might be.
And then with the number of the large number of women AFABs and that shit, the lady spoke about that with being killed in large numbers. Why isn't the community out there fighting? And that's why I always had a problem with the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I'm like, yes, in theory, yes, Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, all lives matter. Yes, there's this, a larger number of blacks being killed in horrible and unjust ways. And yes, in that sense, yes, Black lives do matter. But then when you get into the community and you see that if Boo Boo shot somebody on the corner and half the block seen it, when the cops come around, don't nobody know shit. Ain't
because
nobody
Google gonna
telling.
come to their house. That's why.
Ain't nobody telling shit. Not if you go ahead and say that motherfucker did it, lock his ass up, and you testify as to what you saw. But no, everybody is worried about repercussions, and we don't mobilize as a community in a lot of ways when things within our own community happens, and protest against it with the vigor that we need to, or when you walk past the motherfuckers on the corner every day, or that's hanging in your building. I'm talking about the inner cities, from New York inner cities, because I can only speak about where I'm at.
Right.
You know who the fucking drug dealers are. You know who got guns. You know who is in a gang. You know half the motherfucking your own kids are in gangs. But and why aren't we doing better at organizing against the dysfunction within our own communities? But then
Listen,
Because we're too busy playing the trauma Olympics.
but
That's
when you see
why.
the
I'm trying to tell
LGBTQ,
you.
when you see the
The other thing
LGBTQ
about it is,
community,
and
they get up
I
on it and
cannot
they
speak for black
protest.
women. I
They're
cannot
upset with that.
know what black women experience because I am not a black woman. But when I heard that young lady say that black men were the only ones that could protect black women, I was offended. But I said, I'm not, I don't know what to make of that. But to me, that sounded like, what in the world? Not that black men have not protected black women, but
Yeah,
the black men are the only protector of black women.
a good black man is gonna protect his community, period, and everyone that's in it.
But black women have been protecting the community since the dawn of the community. I mean, what are we talking about? The first protectors of children of black lives becomes a black woman because the mother is generally the first protector of a black life is a mother when a black woman when she's pregnant, protecting that black life until it is birthed. And then once it comes out, it generally that mother usually becomes the first protector. What are we talking about?
Listen,
Like I was looking at
and
this stuff thinking, like,
it's not that we don't like black men. We love our black men. Otherwise, we wouldn't be protecting y'all all the time. Our first call to action, it's like buried into our DNA, is to protect you, our black men. However, it doesn't feel reciprocal. When we see all day long in the media, if you go on TikTok, if you go on Facebook, if you go on Twitter, I can guarantee you to see 5 or 6 posts from Black men asking, what do we bring to the table? Why would you want to date the used goods, otherwise known as a single mother? Black women are loud, angry, and ghetto. Black women are not deserving of decent. Fat Black women don't even deserve the respect of a respectful rejection. No, it's always, why would I want to date your fat Black nasty self? You just about to get ready to die, so why don't you just be ready to die alone, bitch? That's what we're getting from our Black men. Black men are our standard. We are in love with y'all. Y'all are our mates, our soul twin flames, all of that good shit. But all we see is y'all giving us y'all ass to kiss. We are saying we're doing all of these things, and all we see is our Black men choosing white women who have gone to a doctor to get our features. But you don't, and are tanning themselves so that they are our complexion. They have put fillers and injections in their ass, hips, and lips so that they look exactly like us. And that's what you want. You want the manufactured simulation that's going to, yes sir, you to death and uphold you in all your bullshit and allow you to walk all over them and do whatever that you want to. But the real woman who's going to speak to the king that resides in you and challenge you to be better as a man, who's not going to put up with your bullshit. That's too much.
Hey, Chocolate Babe, what's good, Deshaun?
That's too much for you.
She said
I'm gonna say this, and this is the response to a comment I saw in the chat. Because somebody asked, why is there so much attention being brought to this? Is just a comedy special. Those things roll and become dangerous. The reason why you have to go at stuff in music or on television, on the media, because that becomes a part of culture, and cultural norms and cultural idioms end up becoming law and become ideologies that people want to infuse into societal norms and laws. And when you are the butt of the joke, and I'm gonna take it right back to Black people, when it was acceptable in comedy and media and everything that people went to for entertainment to make Black people subjective and be oppressed and be the joke of the white community, it further led to the ideologies that the American culture had about us and how they began to feel about who we are as an individual, whether or not we were worthy of being called individuals. So when you hear, and I will say that when you hear members of the Rainbow Coalition or the trans community or the gay community or the lesbian community say, yeah, I don't want to hear you talking about that in your music or in your comedy special, is because of that reason. These things get infused into how children start to think about those members of that community. And then when you talk about things that begin to be perpetuated within generation after generation after generation, it has to stop. That's where you hit it first. That's where you hit it first in the cultural things, in the comedy specials, and in the music, and on television and television roles like that. Because if not, these things are going to proliferate forever. So that's why it's important for it to, certainly be talked about. Let me say this too. The girl talking about Black men are the only protectors of Black women. Can we talk about the fact that a lot of Black gay men have been a protection for a lot of Black women at times when cisgender straight Black men have not? let's
Get
be clear.
off of
We've
her.
been allies for a long
Get
time.
off of her.
Yes.
We've been allies for a long time. And we
Keisha.
get very protective and will
Fuck
go out in these streets and windmill for the gods.
Right.
I'm
Black
just
gay
saying.
men have always been safe spaces for Black women.
I'm a
Always.
black gay man, and like I say many a times, I have 7 sisters, and I feel protective over them, and will protect them with my life.
Mhm. Like
If we
the
talk
gay,
physically.
the black gay community and Black women have, like you said, and we had a safe space amongst each other for a long time, where we did know it was a lot of straight Black men. I'm not saying all straight Black men. I don't want to come out against all straight Black men, because there's some wonderful straight Black men
They're all
um, out there. But a lot of times, straight Black men would be the aggressors and oppressors of both communities, of Black women and Black gay men. Let's just be clear. And so we had that commonality in that fight, that we gonna make this a safe space. You can say how you feel, and I can say how I feel about it. And that's why we have had that
And just
that
like you
safe
said, in
space.
media, you hear it. You've been hearing it for the longest. Like aside from Lil Nas X, who I adore for his courage, and for the longest, you couldn't be a gay Black man and you couldn't be out and proud and damn near no field. As an actor, you get less roles and certain roles, and as a gay musician, look, Luther took that shit to his deathbed. He ain't never come out with that shit. Like, you can't get on, basically, in hood terms. You can't get on if you gay, and it's been perpetuated throughout the music, and you hear it about homos and all that type shit, and just the other thing, what I'm saying about the Black men, I'm like, I see so many women dancing to the music that is calling them hoes and bitches and referring to them as throat babies and all it, or whatever the fuck a
Now,
throat baby is. But
I agree with
like,
Ty. I agree with what you said. Now, here's the part that I really want to talk about and unpack. And this is I can speak to to the Black gays. The real reason why what the baby did and what Dave Chapelle did got notoriety like it did was because it hit our white counterparts in the community.
the
Because as Black
organized,
gays, a lot of times we
the
will sit
organized,
back and allow
right?
people to really oppress. Look at the Black church. I'm not, that's a whole situation where a lot of us will sit and be subjected to torment within the church and sit there and say hallelujah, amen, and clap and stand up for the pastor while he castigates the entire community.
I've sat in on a few sermons
And we'll sit there and be faithful members and be first one on the front pew.
with your ties
And also listen to and take credibly a lot of music and entertainment from rappers, both male and female, white and Black, musicians and artists that have things to say about the LGBT, the Black gay community as well, and not blink an eye and listen to it and act like it's the greatest thing in the world. So sometimes we have systemically ingrained into us, sometimes as Black people, that we should always, well, I guess I just got to sit here and take this and be the brunt of this joke, or just let it, just fall. Because I guarantee you, had he made that joke and said Black trans or Black gay, there would not be as much smoke and fire. Because that's something that we as a Black gay community do need to speak out for, which is why I'm glad the organization that is being very vocal about it is an organization that is not a Black gay organization. It's just a Black civil rights and civil justice organization that says, look, this is not good. Hey, Kelly Hans. Hey, Joshua. I don't think I said hey to you when you came in either.
Hello, everybody.
And so I do think a lot of times we allow ourselves to become oppressed and subjected to a lot of things. And we will sit there and be like, and we're expected to always be subservient and passive as opposed to saying no. Now, like I said, we will be on the front lines when it's talked about fighting for the Black community as a whole. We are always on the front lines. But sometimes we don't even fight enough for that smaller section of ourselves, which is simply Black gay, not the whole Black LGBT. No, I'm sorry, not the whole LGBTQIA community with the whites and other minorities, but I'm talking about specifically the Black LGBTQ plus community. Oftentimes isn't as vocal or aren't willing to fight and speak up against the oppressions or the things that are said to them. And so that's why when situations come up, the Black community a lot of times, let's be honest, don't want to stick up for us either. And they say, well, y'all are sticking up for y'all, so why we need to stick up for y'all? So when what ends up happening is there begins to be this fight where, okay, y'all trying to cancel one of our Black people. We just starting to get people up here. Y'all can't be taking Black people from us from being in positions of power. Whereas the Black gay community is like, but we're Black too, and we're a part of this whole community that we're fighting for too. What about how we feel too? Like you can't, I don't know. But as Black people, we listen to a whole lot of Black people music that brings down Black women as well. And nobody, and we've been fighting that fight for a long time too.
Okay. All right. So what are we canceling Lil Nas X for? I'm responding to the person Free Thought talk about you was mad that he said fuck your kids. Yes, fuck your kids. Be a goddamn parent. If you are monitoring and watching what your children are watching, then what is the issue? And he hasn't done anything wrong.
To your kids.
He ain't done nothing wrong. So I don't understand what the issue is. Do you think it's because your children is gonna watch him kiss another boy on TV and that's gonna turn your kids gay? I'm sorry to be the one to point this out, but that's not how it works, beloved. That's not how that works. That's not how gay works. Because if that was the case, then you would sit your gay kids down in front of some heterosexual shit, and then all of a sudden they be heterosexual. Is that how it works? No, that's not how it works.
Because that's all we watch.
Exactly.
I grew up on the
so what exactly are we canceling him for? For being himself? For being
let's
free?
just be clear.
Cosby's, I wasn't inspired.
Those of us now, the younger generation can say they saw something. But those of us of a certain age, we have no examples. We didn't have nobody to watch, so it was nothing out there that was turning us into anything.
If anything, it would further encourage someone to be authentically true to themselves.
Right. Let that child be who he gonna be. You don't like the fact that he popping his ass in a prison shower with 16 other men on his video? Then don't watch the video. Like, it's not that. Just don't watch it.
News flash for you too. I think just about every other artist and stuff like that when they be making stuff say the same thing. Fuck them kids.
Exactly. Artists have been saying fuck them kids for a very long time. This is not
about your kids.
When Lil Kim came out with her whole titty out, you think she was worried about the
they ain't been saying nothing about your kids.
When Cardi B and Nicki and Beyonce got titties up their hair and the thong and a bathing suit on and she twerking and dropping and pop, 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 pop. She ain't really worrying about the kids.
When Beyonce was damn near having orgasms on Your Naughty Girl video, doing all of the most, emulating all kinds of things.
Listen, I'll take it back even further. When Madonna was on MTV stage kissing Christina and Britney, even though she was 743,000 years old and they were 12. Listen,
nobody said anything.
Y'all will be all right.
She basically said, "Fuck them kids."
That's not true, Joshua. Joshua, that is not. Joshua, we're not. Even though girls mature faster than boys, it doesn't matter. If you gay, you gay.
That's not how it works.
That's not how that works, beloved. That's not how it works. I never
Get your life.
said that watching a gay personality on television would make your children gay. Okay, well then what is the issue? Why do you want him canceled? Why is you upset because he said fuck them kids? I have kids and grandchildren, and I say fuck them kids all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
I don't
Child, fuck
think
them
it's
kids.
picking and choosing who should be canceled. I think more so it's about, and let me tell you when people get canceled. People get canceled when they become recidivists, when they have learned behavior that they continue to do over and over and over. Nobody does one thing and they say, oh, that's it. Hell, R. Kelly went decades doing stuff and we knew. And nobody said anything. The problem is when you look at most people when they get canceled, what happens is this, it becomes recidivist. It was like, hey, we talked to you about this, and then you decided to double down. Because even before the baby went down that road, remember the baby doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down, then gave this apology that somebody prepared for him, and then said, fuck that apology, I'm gonna just take that one down and go back to what I was saying before. Even, and even with this situation with Dave Chapelle, I'm not even saying cancel Dave Chapelle. I have not said cancel Dave Chapelle. I'm not here a part of the cancel Dave Chapelle culture. But what I'm saying is this is not new where this is the first time anybody had anything to say about something he said about the community. It has been said
over and over again.
Over.
And
he even
you can't
remarked,
cancel somebody who don't care if they can.
He has even remarked, I
literally
know they
said
don't have
it
a
in his
problem with what I have to
special
say.
that they've been trying to cancel him on Twitter. And he was like, I don't give a damn because Twitter is not a real place. So, listen, he already got his check, so fuck what you talk about. That's how he feel about it. So you can be offended, you can talk about it, and you can use it as an example to prove a point, but canceling some, I don't necessarily believe in cancel culture. And a lot of people who get canceled, I can't cancel them because I wasn't fucking with them in the first place. So I can't cancel anything that I wasn't supporting. I wasn't buying their music. Like when the baby went and had that rant at that concert, and it was like, cancel him. And I was like, well, I can't cancel somebody that I'm not listening to his music. I'm not buying his music. I'm not looking at his video. I'm not doing any of those things.
Hey, really, B, I know you came
You
up.
can't cancel somebody that you don't support in the first place. That's like when they were talking about canceling Kanye. That just means I ignore him harder. Like it wasn't just not in my daily life. Cancel culture is a lot. Is a whole lot. And people be walking on pins and needles so they don't say the wrong thing to get canceled.
And be fake.
What were you saying, really, B? I'm sorry.
No, I just said hello.
Really?
Oh, hey, girl.
Hey, Ty. What's up? Hey, Boo. Hey, Ebs. Hey, what's up, Elle?
Really?
What's good?
Not much. Yeah.
You tried to stay out, but you couldn't. It vexed you.
No, well, I mean, I'm staying out of the Dave Chapelle thing. Like I can talk about other stuff, but I'm gonna stay out of the Dave Chapelle thing. So, because I have an unpopular opinion, so I will keep it to myself. But I don't agree with cancel culture.
The whole title said unpopular, unbiased, unapologetic.
I don't agree with cancel culture because one, I agree with what Free Thought is saying to the extent of if the cancel culture becomes very tricky because it's like, okay, who do we cancel? Why do we cancel them? How long do we cancel them? Like, like El Teddy disagrees with the whole when Chrisette Michelle got canceled because he's a fan of Chrisette Michelle. I understood the reaction to Chrisette Michelle, but it's a personal thing. Like, I mean, there's still people who will argue me down about R. Kelly. Okay, do you, boo? Like, so I don't agree with cancel culture because I do feel like, we are in a free society. Yes, that doesn't mean free of consequence, but we are in a free society and people, feel the way that they feel. I do disagree with what Joshua was saying as far as men being more feeble-minded and stuff. Like that is bullshit. Like that is some old-fashioned bullshit thinking. So when two women kiss, it doesn't bother women and it doesn't influence little girls. But when they see two men kiss, that's going to influence them. Like that's bullshit. I think the reason why people are okay with seeing certain things is because we as a society have deemed certain things to be okay and to
Hmm.
be fetishes. We let's be clear, we have as a society, we have made lesbianism a fetish. Oh, I experimented when I was in college and nobody thinks a big deal about it. Oh, well, I like to be with women, but I'm not gay. Oh, I've even had people tell me, well, that's like a toy for me. When I have a woman in the bedroom with me, that's just kind of like something I play around with, but I don't really take it seriously. And as a society, that's been deemed okay. But if a man does it, oh, he gay. And I've even been guilty. I've done that. Oh, nah, you don't be playing around. If you slept with a man, you gay. Me and El Teddy have had that conversation, and I've evolved. I have evolved my thinking on it, but we as a society, that's what we do. So we've got to get away from saying it's okay for Beyonce to be on stage half naked, or Nicki Minaj, or Cardi B, or Meg Thee Stallion, or whatever. But when Lil Nas X does it, then oh my God, cover your kids' eyes. Oh my goodness, like if it's good for the goose, it's got to be good for the gander, and that's we as a society have to get away from that way of thinking. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't.
And free thought, it's always an option to turn something off. Nobody is forcing you to watch these things. If you don't like it, don't look at it. If it's offensive to
Hey
you,
Tracy,
don't look at it.
and let
And
me say
nobody's
this.
gonna be upset about your choice. That's your choice.
I think cancel culture has become this term where people think that there's this magical light switch where you just flip the switch down and now they're gone and they're canceled. That's kind of not like how things work. Um, I
And I
do.
think cancel culture is lazy. I think that's a lazy way of dealing with a problem instead of us as a society figuring out the problem, understanding it, and fixing it so that it doesn't continue to happen. I just think that's lazy.
I think too, though, what ends up, like I was just saying right before you came on, really be what ends up bringing about what people consider to be canceling somebody or not seeing it for them is the recidivism of it all. When we continue to have a conversation with you and you make no efforts to try to say, oh, I understand that. And then you can't just say, oh, I understand that and then do it again. You have to say, oh, I hear you. I understand that. And now let me move in a different direction or let me alter. Let me be cognizant of that the next time I, do something or say something. And myself and really we have had a lot of conversations, myself and Ty, even myself and Evie, we've had conversations off camera and we'll say, hey, dot, 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 dot. And it'll make I know I have, and I know really B tells me she has, and even Evie, and I know Ty will say, you know what, I didn't think about it that way. Oh, that's a whole different argument, I think. And so it'll change my mentality on how I look at a situation, how I address a situation, and how I act and behave in what I do. And so the problem comes when these individuals that end up we have to have these big conversations is it's never the first time. It's always we said something and you continue to double down and say, I don't care, feel how you feel. And then the deflection comes with what free thought is saying. And now I'm not coming at you, free thought, but what ends up happening is we're addressing this situation at hand. You don't get to deflect and say, but what about so and so that did such and such? Because then that's going to always not get to the problem. If we
Right.
never get to no, now we got to say that's enough. Yeah, we allowed some stuff in the past. Yeah, that those things went on. And yeah, they were horrible and they should not have been allowed to happen. But we are here now. Think about, I'm going to give you a perfect example. The George Floyd. You know how many scores and millions of black men had been killed in similar fashion and manner? And police could have easily said, and a lot of them did say, you know what? Well, what about when so and so did this? Well, we have a precedent when such and such did that. Enough is enough. We got to have a point where we say, yeah, it's time. Just stop. And when that
Yeah,
person never
I
wants
agree.
to stop and they keep doing it and keep finding reasons and excuses to say, oh, I should be able to, then that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, and that's I agree, and that's why I'm saying the dialogue is important because sometimes with the conversation, comes an understanding. And even if and here's the thing, and I feel like here's the other problem, in my opinion. I'll use the baby as an example. Do I think that the baby's way of thinking is ignorant as hell? I sure do. But you know what? That is how he thinks. And now we have a decision to make. Do we, like Abby said, those people who support the baby, do we continue to support the baby? Or are we over it and we've moved on? And at the end of the day, that is part of the problem that we have as Black folk, because we don't make people pay in their pocket. Because let's be clear, the only reason why the baby even thought about pretending like he was going to apologize is because it started hitting his pockets. And that is and that's it. That's all, because it started hitting his pockets. And so that, honestly, in the society that we live in today, it really is only financial. So to use Dave Chapelle as an example, you know, it's not affecting him financially. So he's not going to stop because this is how he feels. Whether people agree with his thought process or not, whether people think it's ignorant or not, whether people, because like Abby said, I think a lot of people that are criticizing have not even looked at it. Because I looked at the special, and I'm not in the community, so my opinion is not coming from somebody who's in the community, but it wasn't what people were trying to make it out to be. Like, they really put a lot of words in his mouth and pressed on things that he did not say. Like, if you go and look at the special, I'm not saying that there weren't things in it that could have been offensive to the trans community. I'm not in the trans community. I can't speak for them. But some of the things that they said he didn't say.
The thing about it is, Dave Chapelle has to know and understand, after being in comedy and being in media for how long, that everything he says ends up getting overanalyzed. And because he's empowered with that, this is not new to him. And when you know, if you mention, you even said it, anytime I say anything about the LGBTQ, it gets over. And you knew it was purposeful. You knew, yeah, I'm gonna put this in there. Yeah, they're gonna get upset about it. But like you said, I already got my money. I ain't worried about, losing the bag. I'm gonna keep it in there anyway. They're gonna get mad, they're gonna rant and rave, and then the news cycle is gonna move on. And now,
and that's what the baby thought was gonna happen. That's why he didn't give a damn until it didn't happen.
Which is why you have you got a lot of the first one that came out is one of the writers for Dear White People, who's a trans woman, and she says, I'm cutting ties with you, Netflix, and she writes for a couple other shows, and she put out this letter
I saw
about that. And you have a lot of, and that's why that Black organization has said to Netflix, hey, it's time, and things like that. Now, I don't know how the contract was worked out with residuals and things like that, or whether it was a lump sum from the beginning. I don't know how his contract was written, but like I said, at some point, I'll give you another example of somebody who I recently said enough is enough for me and that person. And I don't feel like that person is going to be canceled, but I made my own conscious decision to say, yeah, I can't do you anymore. And that was 50. I recently made that decision on 50.
Right.
And 50 over the years has had this assault on a whole lot of Black women across the fruited plains. We ain't gonna even go down the road of his history and how he speaks to and talks about Black women and all kinds of the members of this community, and how he's been a bully and had a bully pulpit for a very long time. And so for me, the last straw for me was when you over here going in on somebody who did. I was like, but like I said, I'm not somebody who frequently listens to 50 Cent's music because I ain't never liked him as a rapper. But I know that he has shows that he profits from, shows that I've watched and I've liked, and I've said to myself, yeah, I'm not going to involve myself with that anymore, because personally, I can't do that. Now, is that going to cancel him and take money out of his pocket? Absolutely not. But I do look at organizations and individuals who do have power and influence and can say, we're going to put our organization on top of our saying, no, we can't allow this anymore. And that's why I think is important that we start to look at some of these organizations and see how they move about trying to, because I know GLAAD done came out about it. You know, the big the big organizations have come out and said, yeah, we're not here for this, as you would expect.
Okay,
What-
Joshua, to speak to why isn't he in jail? Because he was in the middle of being robbed in the Walmart, and it was self-defense. That's why he's not in jail.
Yeah, at least that's what the case said in court.
That's what the case said. That's what the Walmart camera said. That's what the police said. So therefore, he is not in
The
jail.
family coming out now and saying some other
Right, like
I
this.
know.
It wasn't robbery. Go sit. I'm so sorry for your loss. Go sit down.
Right, and like I said, I'm sure, like even the baby is still out here making money across the fruited plates. Please be clear.
Oh, I also want y'all to know that Dave Chapelle has deposited his check years ago. So, and the Netflix has recouped all of the money that they had. So they're not going to take it down. So all of this cancel him and take it down and all of that. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's going to do that. They're not playing with their money like that. So all y'all doing is causing them to have it up longer, so more people, so it'll drive more traffic to people watching the.
But that was the whole reason. Dave Chapelle knew this would be radioactive. This is 2021, okay? This ain't 2010, back when he had his show and stuff like that. This ain't 2011. He knew this would be radioactive. He knew it would garner the views. My point is, and this, and I'm evolving into how I'm thinking it. This is even more reason why, if I was a member of the trans community, I would be screaming holy hell. Because I'm like, now wait a minute. We talked to you. We told you this. And you still want to go about using us, our plight, and our feelings to cause you to go viral and radioactive? No, sir, we're not going to continue to just be quiet. If I'm a member of the trans community, I'm not just going to sit here and be quiet. Every time we tell you, hey, that hurt, and now you want to, you knew it was going to go radioactive and polar, and you said, fuck that, I'm just going to do it anyway.
You said I said what I said. Y'all can be mad. Oh, well, be mad, because my check cleared years ago. So I'm going to take my, however, 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars, whatever they gave that man. I done took that money. I done paid the taxes on it. I done moved to a small town in Ohio where I got my own driveway, and you come over here and get shot if you want to. None of that matters to him. I could do a whole show in my backyard if I wanted to. I don't need y'all or your opinions. So I like.
Well, and if I'm to address what's put in the comments, if we really want to go down the road where this really spirals down to, it's the Black community and our unabridged and unbridled support of Black straight men, regardless of what they do sometimes, which is why you got the baby that's around here committing all kinds of atrocities all over the place. And we as the Black community have been taught to protect them regardless of what they do, which is why you can have them assaulting Black women, which is why you can have them castigating whole members of the Black community because they're not straight, which is why you can have all of this stuff happen. Ain't no canceling, but it's like I said earlier, when our white counterparts get hit by a blow, they come out real fast and say, oh no, what we're not gonna do. They don't give a shit about us over here doing stuff to ourselves, but when it touches them, they come right out and say, yeah, we're not gonna have that.
Okay, so I just want to address cute as a button. First of all, I love the name. So let's start there. Second of all, yes, cancel your family. First of all, just because they're family doesn't mean that you have to put up with their toxic bullshit.
I don't cancel a whole
Set a
lot
boundary, and if they can't respect it, then go no contact. You don't have to put up with that bullshit. You don't have to.
Hell no, mama, daddy.
It don't matter who
Right,
it is.
I don't care who you is, mama, daddy, grandma, whatever. At a certain point, I'm an adult just like you are, and you were allowed to live your life unapologetically when you did, and so will I. Because my taxes, when I become grown, I become a family of myself and my kids and my spouse. And if I'm single with no kids, I'm a family of one. I'm the head of my own house.
And we had this conversation we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago on my channel where I think I was saying that Funky Dineva had put out a video basically saying something to that extent. You know, we have to unlearn certain things. And one of the things that we have to unlearn is that no matter what, it's family and we have to support and we have to be there. We have to, no, we don't. If your family is toxic and your family is detrimental to your mental health, to your physical health, to your growth, then no. It is okay to say, I need to step away from this. And yes, you are a part of my family. We share blood, and from that, there'll always be that bond. But that doesn't mean you have to be a part of my life. That doesn't mean I have to allow you into my space, especially if you are contrary to how I'm living my life. Whether it
I
is
mean,
because you don't agree with my lifestyle, sexuality. Maybe you don't like the fact that I married a white man. Maybe you don't like the fact that I decided to be a teacher instead of a lawyer. Whatever the issue is, it's your issue. It's not my issue. And I don't have to allow you to mistreat me because of that.
that was the whole reason for families and houses in the gay community to begin with, because that became your only family. Because your own family, you talk about us canceling the family canceled us. Let's be clear.
Your fag ass out my house.
Not
We
fuck the
canceled
family. I
them.
let the family in my house and the family fucked my husband.
They canceled us. And so we had to go out and find our own family. No, and then the sad part is when we die, or in the past, and even to this day, sometimes we have that person who dies, and now the family tries to make them straight again. And doesn't let none of their friends come, don't let their lover come. If they die, you can't even see the body, you can't do nothing, you can't come to this funeral, you can't
Or
come
if
to
she
this
was a
fast.
full transsexual with breasts and everything, but y'all put her in a suit and call her Curtis at the funeral.
Like,
listen, I am a big believer. First of all, I'm very spiritual, religious, whatever you want to call it. But I am a big believer in, at the end of my life, I'm going to have to answer for every deed that is done in my body. So why would you? So how's you going to, when you get in front of whoever it is that you serve and have to give an account for, how you going to account for how you acted with this family member? That you did these things. Oh, just because I didn't agree? I don't get it, but I also don't get how you throw your children out when they say they not who you want them to be.
I've heard people say they go to like their grandparents' house and grandpapa is still saying sissy boy and shit like that, and everybody in the family think it's
look at T.S. Madison. Look at T.S. Madison when she did her show, and we met her dad, and they still call her by her born name. They won't. Her dad will not call her T.S. Her dad still calls her Tim. And I'm like, you are looking at a whole woman. There is nothing about T.S. Madison when you see her, how she publicly appears, but you call her Tim. Like, don't you feel, I would feel foolish. I would just feel foolish.
Cute as a button. You said there are laws that protect. Remember, there are no federal laws that protect states from not allowing families to do what they do at funerals. Let's be clear. Those become statewide, or sometimes even down to the municipality of discretion and stuff like that. And it's still right now in 2021. I've been to funerals recently where that person dies and that family is like, no, y'all are not invited. No, y'all can't come.
But you know what? But there are laws that protect if you have a will, if you put it in
if
writing.
You have a will,
so,
yes.
I understand. No, I get that. But what I'm saying is there are laws that are there. But this is something that, and I'm gonna say as a Black community, I'm not white, so I can't speak for white people, but I know I can speak for my people. That is something that we don't do. We know that we know our family is crazy. We know that we don't even talk to our family, and that this is who our family is. But we don't. It doesn't. You don't have to go to a lawyer. It doesn't have to be expensive. All you have to do is, you write it out. You make sure that it's witnessed, and then it is legally binding. I mean, you got to go state to state.
You get it notarized and stuff like that.
Right. You find out what you need to do, and you put it up in a safe place, and you let the right people know what it is, and your family can't come in. I mean, they can go to court and they can make it a big deal. But now you have said, listen, this is what I want, and so I put some of that on the people because your family is what they are, and you've
Well,
left
I
them
know
up
mine.
to make that decision. You've
My
left. You've
family
allowed.
loves me.
You've allowed
But
that
they
to
won't be
happen.
on the front row. I can tell you that. My family love me. But that front row is gonna be for people. And then my family, y'all come behind this good front row. You mad? I already got a CD chart.
Oh
Like you
wow.
better
Not a
follow the
CD
CD chart.
chart. Listen, just spread my ashes.
I have a CD chart for
That's
my
it.
life.
I just need y'all to go to a nice beach and spread my ashes. Do not put me
I
in the
mean,
ground. Those are
I
only
mean, I had
stipulations
to
I have. Otherwise,
Take
I
your
don't give
right,
a
pick,
damn.
man.
Do whatever you want.
and I had to put some stuff in writing because I had a conversation with my mom, and my mother told me point blank. I said I want to be cremated. She was like, I don't think I could do that. Okay, well you're not in charge. And I love my mama to death, but you're not in charge. Then, if you're telling me that you're not going to respect my wishes, then you're not in charge. That's it.
Mr. Pisces, what's going on, sir? I don't think Flame Monroe should ever be given a microphone to speak on anything revolving the trans
Why?
community
Why
because she
not?
has said some of the
Why?
most she has said some of the most
But
incendiary things.
but see, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, if you're not in the community, you don't have an opinion, and then the people in the community, if they don't say what you want them to say, then they still don't have an opinion. That's not fair.
I'm
She's
not saying that
trans.
they
She
can't have
has
an
a right to her
opinion,
opinion.
but what I'm saying is it would be like saying, okay, all things on black people, we're going to have Larry Elder and Candace Owens to speak on all things black, and they are going to be the standard for how we look at the black community and how they
See,
think.
now you adding shit to the sauce. Nobody said that Flame Monroe is the standard. You
No,
said
but what I'm
Flame
saying
Monroe
is,
shouldn't be able to speak on it.
what I am saying is, a lot of these big platforms, they go to her. And instead of having multiple, when they ask for a black trans woman, a lot of these platforms, the Breakfast Clubs and the Don Lemons and the different places, they'll go to her and they will listen to her saying, oh, well, that must be how they feel. Oh, well, that must be the way they think. And a
But the
lot of
reality
things
is,
is completely counter to what we want out there.
but what I'm saying is the standard is already out there. Like the headlines are already the trans community is we want to cancel Dave Chapelle, and the trans community this and the trans community that. So the headline is already out there. That standard is already out there. You have
But what
the
I'm
Flame
saying,
Monroes who are saying, listen, this is how I feel, and I do feel contrary to it. Nobody's saying that Flame Monroe is the standard, but I think it's fair to have both sides of the conversation. I don't agree with 99.99999% of what Candace Owen has to say, but listen, she has a right to say it, and people have a right to put her on a platform and allow her to say what she has to say. I don't like her. I don't agree with what she has to say, but I don't think it's fair to say, oh well, she's saying something that's contrary to what it is that we want, and so no, she shouldn't have a platform to speak. I just don't think that's fair.
even if you're going to do that, be fair about it. Don't just have her. Have a couple other people. Don't have her with the one mic and her, and now she get to spew all of that out there. And you, as the host, said, "You know what? I'm so glad you came on. Glad that's what you had to say, and keep it moving." No, let's have a real conversation then. Let's have someone who has the history, who has the intellect and the ability to say, "Nah, we're gonna sit here. We're gonna have a real conversation. Since this what you want to do."
But
I'm
they
fine
have
with that.
done that. I've seen Flame Monroe in situations where there is a debate, there is a panel. I mean, it's not always just her. I've seen that. Anyway, all I'm saying is you can't have it both ways. You can't tell me, well, my opinion doesn't count because I'm not trans, and then when a trans person speaks, their opinion don't count either because they're saying it was contrary to what it is that you think. Just don't think that's fair. That's just my opinion.
What I'm going to say is this. If I'm the trans community, like I said, I'm not in the trans community. So let me start by saying that. But if I am in the trans community, I want no parts of Flame Monroe hitting a microphone anywhere in America because the things that she's saying is going to be counter to our cause when they are in the midst of just trying to get equal right. They are battled in the midst of trying to get equal rights for their community. They're still out here windmilling, and
And that's
stuff like
fair.
that.
That's
Huh?
fair, but that's not what you said originally. All I'm saying, what you just
No, I
said
said she
is fair
shouldn't
to
get a
say.
microphone.
No,
I said that.
right. So what
I
I'm
said she
saying is
shouldn't
that's
get a
two different things. To say that if I were a part of the trans community, I wouldn't want her to speak versus she shouldn't be able to speak. That's two different things. I don't want Candace Owen to ever have a platform as a black woman. I don't want nobody to ever call Candace Owen. But do I feel like she has a right to give her opinion if somebody calls her? Sure.
I mean, we
All I'm
all
saying
have
is
a
what
right
you're
to have
saying
an
is two
opinion. We
different. Right. So
all,
all I'm saying is what
no,
you
now
right.
we
So but that's
started off
not what
by
you
saying,
originally said. I'm only disagreeing with your original statement. That's it.
oh,
That's all.
no. My original statement goes along with what I just said. I don't think she should have a microphone and be able to talk anywhere. Now, can she have an
And that's
opinion?
it. That's all I'm
Absolutely.
saying.
Have your opinion, girl. I can't stop you from having it. Should your opinion be put out there and spewed in the atmosphere?
BR Burns, I do feel like everybody should be able to say, because you know why? Because I want to know exactly how you feel about me. If the skinheads need to get up there and talk, is it vile? Absolutely, it's vile. But you know
No.
what?
But
Now
once
I
the
know.
skinheads have talked, but wait, once the skinheads have talked previously, and you already know how they feel about you, and you know that they don't care, and you know that their viewpoints go counter to what human rights should be and what we should be doing, then I don't need you to talk no more. I don't need you to spew that. I already know where you're coming from. I know how you feel. I'm not going to let you continue to spew that, because what you're going to do is you may.
That's just okay. That's fine, El Teddy. I disagree, and that's fine. We can move on. I know you don't like agree to disagree. That's fine. I won't use that term, but that's fine. I just disagree. It's okay.
It's okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I just Flame Monroe is the last person.
And let's be clear, Flame Monroe is not the only trans woman that feels that way. Flame Monroe is just
Oh,
the only
she's
one
not?
right now. That's right. So then why can't she's speaking for another part of the community that says, hey, we don't all feel this way. So I don't think it's wrong for her to have a platform to be able to say that. That's all I'm saying.
I do. I'm sorry. I just disagree. I do. I think it's
Okay.
wrong for her to have a platform to say some of the stuff that she
Okay,
says.
well, that's fine.
And the only reason that I say that is because she has said things that cost people's lives. She has said things that has caused people to think certain ways that have been the demise of people within that community. And that is dangerous. That's dangerous, some of the stuff that she says. And that's why I said, yeah. I'm not saying you can't have an opinion, but when your opinion can be a danger to members of your own community to where it can cause lives, I just can't. I can't get with that. So, I mean, but that's right. That's a whole nother argument. I'll let the trans community.
Joshua, that's not true, and that's just Joshua, that's not true, and that's disrespectful. Flame Monroe is not a cross-dresser. Flame Monroe is a trans woman. That is how she identifies, and she should be respected that way. Flame Monroe has had surgeries and augmentation, and that is she identifies as a trans woman. So I don't think that's fair to say. Oh,
though. We go by what people identify as, not whether or not they've had surgery. Just want to
I understand
separate
that.
those.
I understand that. I understand that doesn't equal just because she's had surgery doesn't make her transgender. I understand that. I was just adding that to the fact that this is what she identifies as. And if we, as a non-member of the community, if I'm told that I have to respect how people identify, I'm just saying that's what we need to do. We need to respect how people identify.
So, oh no, I'm not disrespecting her. I call her a woman. If that's what she identified. I didn't not call her a woman.
She has breasts.
She has breasts, Joshua. She has big old. She has big old babies.
Not only has she had breasts, but she's also had facial reconstruction.
Right.
She's
but I do want to say, just having surgeries does not.
No, I understand. I understand that.
Identify.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that. I was just adding that to the fact that that's how she identifies. But you're right. One doesn't have anything to do with the other. You're right. You're right. And I agree, Tabitha. I agree with what you're saying that it is a slippery slope. I 100% agree with that. And it is dangerous because, again, yes, we can use Donald Trump as an example. All I'm saying is the world that we live in, the society that this America, until the rules change, that is the America we live in. And I'm not saying that makes it okay, because the America we live in is not a perfect place. We get that. I understand that. That's all I'm saying. I just think that if we get to, I think it's also dangerous to say that people who have opinions that are contrary to ours shouldn't have a right to speak. I also think that that's dangerous, because one day our opinions are going to be contrary to the popular opinion, and then we're going to be muted and silenced. And I think that's a slippery slope as well.
And
I
how you
do agree,
dress,
slippery
I
slope.
think how you
However,
dress
only
does,
go ahead, Ty.
how you dress doesn't affect how you identify either, because for a long
Agreed.
time women weren't allowed to wear pants because it was seen as something only for men.
Mhm.
And you have boyfriend shorts, you have women in t-shirts and hoodies and sweats
Right.
and everything else. You don't call them dudes. Like, she has
Uh,
stated how
okay.
she identifies, and it is what it is. Once she states how she identifies.
Just
Okay,
because
so
she's wearing pants and a shirt doesn't mean she's dressing like a dude. I wear
Right.
pants and a blouse all the time, and I still have breasts. Like that doesn't make sense, Joshua. Like, what do you mean dressing like a dude? Because she wears pants and wears a fedora? That doesn't mean that she's not a
no.
trans woman.
Okay, so free thought. Hip hop has long been a reflection of lived experiences. So I don't know that it's like which came first, the chicken or clearly the chicken. That's not how it works. Because Free Thought said hip hop has costed the lives of thousands since gangster rap was invented. They have maybe had commentary on the lives that was lost, but I don't think, while there have been several deaths because of hip hop, I don't think I don't think it's that
Because
simple.
think
I
hip
don't
hop
think it's that simple.
hip hop derived, I think, in a lot of ways from the inner city cultures, which has suffered from decades upon decades of disproportionate numbers of black men being incarcerated and drugs being pumped into our community by those who were not of the same pigment as us. And so all of that stems from a lot of that. So if you want to really say it's the drugs that cause the hip hop, that cause the murders and all of that type of stuff. So if
But
you
it's not.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Ty. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was finished.
But that's not male presenting. When Abby, can I use you as an example? No disrespect. When Abby takes her makeup off and takes her wig off and wears pants and a t-shirt, she's not
Wait,
male
that's a wig?
presenting.
That's a wig?
Shut up.
Oh
But
my
that doesn't
God.
make you male presenting just because you don't have on a wig. If I slick my hair back and put on a hat and I don't have on any makeup, I'm not male presenting.
I got
I'm just a
these right
girl
here.
that doesn't have on makeup and didn't do her hair.
I got these on my hand, but trust and believe I'm still a nigga all day. This dude asked me the other day, "Oh, what's the thing with people with dudes doing that?" I'm like, I don't know what's the thing with them doing it, but I live by a wish mentality, and I wish a motherfucker act like I wasn't raised in the streets of Brooklyn and got some shit to say to me. Like, I'm a free fucking
I'm so
spirit.
confused.
I'm gonna give you a little bit
Exactly.
of time, Joshua, since my
Like,
mod
I'm
did
gonna
not
do what I
mod.
want, but I'm still a
I'm
man.
gonna give you a little bit of time
I'm
But
to
a
what
man.
I'm
think
saying is, again, that's
to
not
think these things
fair.
through.
So because you know that Flame Monroe was born a man, that whenever she is not in full geech, as they call it, and correct me if I'm wrong, because she's not in a full face of makeup and got on a wig and has on a gown and has on acrylic nails, now all of a sudden, because when she doesn't do all of that, she's male presenting. That's bullshit. Because there are women who wake up every day and don't do none of that, and you know that they are clearly a woman, whether they have a size A cup, whether they have a size double D cup. You know that they're a woman. It's not that's wrong, Joshua, to say, oh, well, she's male presenting and so she's more of a cross. No, that's not. No. Flame Monroe says that Flame Monroe is a trans woman. She identifies as a trans woman. She does not have to get up every day and put on a full face of makeup and do her hair to satisfy you, for you to respect how she identifies. That's not fair.
Now, what she has said is that she don't care if you call her he, she, we.
Now she has said that. She has said she don't give a fuck. She has said that.
She doesn't. That doesn't bother her, and because it doesn't bother her, doesn't mean that it wouldn't bother someone else, or that is
right. You can't have that mindset for every trans woman, absolutely. Or even as myself, as a natural born woman, I don't always get up every day and put on makeup and do all of that. So that doesn't mean that you get to say, oh, you're male identifying because you didn't put on a dress this morning. That's bullshit. I got on sneakers, jeans, and a t-shirt right now. My hair ain't done, and I don't have on no makeup. I am 100% woman all day, every day.
I went to a party the other night, and I had on my tuxedo blazer, my bow tie, my shirt, but I had a skirt on. Like I was still up, and then it was a straight function, and got my nails and all of that, but I'm still a man. I'm like, no matter what I have on, the clothes don't make the man. And that whether I'm in a suit or a skirt, I'm still
God bless his heart. We still praying on Ty, y'all. We still praying on him.
Now you catch me on Vigo when I got some.
You was probably cute too, Ty. You probably looked real cute too.
Oh,
I got a whole collection of skirts. Listen, Ty has a whole collection.
I won best dressed male also. The gift bag is right over there, but I did win best dressed male.
Yeah, Ty has a whole collection of skirts. I don't know where my mods and why they're not modded. Y'all know I get to a certain point where you can hear them about boy. I'll be like, listen, okay, enough. I don't let too much get too much.
I'm done at this point. I said my point. I'm done. I got to get ready to go to work, child. I got to get my lunch break almost over, child.
I thought it was a holiday. Y'all still teaching today?
We have parent-teacher conferences, and they made us come in the building to sit on the computer and talk to the parents virtually when I could have done it from my living room, but whatever.
No, I was gonna say if what you see is a man and you address her, say, sir, she may correct you, and then that's when like you're not wrong for if you see a dude. You're not wrong if you address him as him, but then when she say, "I'm not a dude" or "I'm not a man," I would like to be, called she, or I identify as this. Can you please, respect me as that? Whether or not you respect her for what she asked you to address her as, that's when it becomes disrespectful. But if you see a man, or if you see someone that physically appears to be a man, you won't be wrong for addressing her as such, or addressing them as such. But when they correct you, or when they inform you as to what they would like to be identified as, then that's when you choose where you want to go with it, and then they'll deal with you accordingly. If you say, she say, no, I'm not, I identify as this, and you say, nah, nigga, you a man, then she will address you how she would choose to address you, because then at that point you are disrespecting her if you can't respect her wish.
Exactly.
All right. That's when any strange person that you don't know off the streets, I call you by whatever pronouns you're presenting at the time. If you want me to call me do something different, then I will do so. That's the same conversation that we was having with that about that child on Chase in LA. If we don't know those are your pronouns, how are we supposed to call you by pronouns?
Right.
You have to sometimes if you are non-binary or it's not readily apparent or you're trans, but say this particular day, even though you're trans, you're male presenting at that day, and I don't know you, and so I say, hey sir, how can you do, and you say, well, no, my pronouns are such and such and such. Then at that point, from that point forward, I will call you by whatever pronouns you want me to call you. But if I don't know you and you're presenting as a certain way, I'm going to call you by what you present as until you correct me.
If you meet a girl on the street or a lady or woman and you be like, hey girl, what's good? And she stop you and be like, I'm not a girl, I'm a grown-ass woman, blah, blah, blah. I bet you address her as that grown-ass woman. The grown-ass woman she just corrected you on. If you continue to say, nah, you a girl, come here, girl, then you're disrespecting her, and I'm sure she'll probably put you in your place. Like, it's all about respect.
Idiots.
Well,
Listen.
What? You said listen, and we all listening.
Oh no, that's my exclamation point.
Oh, okay, I thought you were about to say something.
That's my exclamation point.
So I definitely I'm glad we were able to. We'll see where this goes. I mean, I don't see how far it can go when the man is done with his contract and they've already paid him.
And let's be clear. Not only is he done with his contract, he really don't give a.
He don't.
I mean, I'm not saying that makes it okay. He really doesn't care.
He on his farm in his small town where everybody know everybody, and he good. He's good.
But I will say this: at least the conversation has started, so that if that community feels like it's a problem, the next person, when they pick up the mic to have a comedy special, may think and say, "Yeah, I probably don't want to go down that road." And that's how you start to have change where,
and everybody ain't Dave Chapelle. Everybody, like every comedian is not a Dave Chapelle. Because let's be clear, Dave Chapelle offends everybody. Everybody. And he don't care.
But that doesn't mean we don't get to not tell you to care.
No.
Well, not tell you to care.
No.
But, you going in and out really quick.
I'm not.
You going in and out.
Okay, I'm out. Let me go. Bye.
Oh, yeah, you was going in and out. I call you, girl.
Many serious conversations have derived from comedians. Mm-hmm. They often get the ball rolling in the conversations happening.
So, like I said, I can't tell a certain community that I'm not a member of how to feel. And I started this off by saying, when white people made black people the butt of their jokes, and we had an issue with it, that was our feeling, and we had to tell them, we don't like that. Don't do that. Don't talk about us like that. You don't get to say that and just have that just be you making millions of dollars and people should be entertained by that, because we're telling you that offends us. Same way the Native American community has done it, same way the Hispanic community has done it, because there are certain terms that even they don't even allow they don't even like their own Latinx community members to use, like the WB word. Like the Mexican community is like, yeah, we're not here for. I don't care if you is Latinx. I don't care if you is Mexican. You cannot go around using that term in your comedy set. Get over it. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
You're gonna have to text me. I don't know what WB word you're talking about.
It starts with the wet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Say it again. I mean, listen, the kids was yelling and I was on mute. What happened now? What WB? What happened?
It starts with wet, and that's how they refer to Latinx people, or a lot of times Mexican people.
Okay.
And they,
Because you said WB, and I thought we were still in the community.
yeah, and you
so
know that's a word.
I thought that was the WAP for
That's
men.
the word that was previously thrown out there a lot by people outside of the Latinx community and people within the Latin. They like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Right.
And
That term has always been offensive. Like, why would you say that?
I remember hearing it first
in a comedy sketch, probably.
Either a movie.
I feel like I heard it first on Archie Bunker. I could be wrong.
It's something like that, but it was definitely on television or
in a lot of these,
mainstream
and
media.
that's why I said when you see stuff in media, that's where you hit it first, because that's a lot of people's first interaction with some of these offensive ideologies and offensive terms, and they're social norms, and you have to immediately hit it from the beginning. Nah, bro, we ain't gonna let you keep doing that.
Especially when you know it's reaching the masses, and you gotta nip that shit in bud.
So that's why I don't have no problem with them saying, "Yeah, Netflix, shut this down." Now, if Netflix chooses not to shut this down, that's their choice. But at least they put it out there that it offends them and that they don't want people doing that. So the next time Netflix comes around with the next comedian, they might want to let them know, yeah, here's a list of places you probably don't want to go. I ain't gonna tell you what to do, but just know. So I don't know. I thought the conversation
I don't think Netflix is going to do that. I think that they know who it is that they're approaching and what their comedy is about before they approach them and offer them a deal. So trying to censor or give them a list. Netflix is not. No, they're gonna recoup all of the dollars that they have paid. They paid that man.
The other thing
like
is,
$40 million.
We were living in a.
They gave him big money a couple years
ago.
The
world we lived in when they first gave him that deal is different than the world we live in now.
Right, and that was just a couple years ago.
Right.
And you see how quickly these things, change and turn around, and so.
Because people are completely skipping over. They went from Sticks and Stones, which is when he did the allegory about the letter people being in a car, and then there was the 934. I can't remember. It was the time of how long that man was on his neck, George Floyd's neck. He did that special, and now this is his last special, and people are completely skipping over the George Floyd thing to connect the Sticks and Stones and the closer. So any gravitas or good feelings or anything that he garnered with the George Floyd special is being completely overwashed and overshadowed by this new special that has just come out.
I don't even remember the George Floyd special. I really don't remember it all. I can't tell you.
It was so good.
I watched it.
It was good. It was
amazing.
30 minutes.
A single joke from it.
It wasn't that long either. It was
24
like
minutes, I think.
I don't remember.
It was short. It wasn't no full.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was just him in his backyard, and the whole thing was about his connection to the George Floyd thing, and it was. You got to go back and watch it. Like it was really good.
But let me say once again, because we about to get up out of here. We've been on here almost 2 hours, dear God. Let me say, great conversation. Please understand that an offense is an offense, and it's an offense. And if Ty says you offend me when you talk about my nudity, I have to stop talking about his nudity. If Abby says you offend me when you talk about my Shaka Khan hair, I'm every woman. It's all in me. Or do you love what you feel? Cause I love what you do to me. Do you love what you do? Cause I love what you do to me. Baby. Child. Oh, let me publicly thank
And if
Tabitha.
we
Thank
say,
Tabitha
that
because
they're
I
on
was trying to find
LGBTQ,
that song when we did the politics of it all, and I couldn't think of the name of the song. She put it in my comment section, Body Mechanic. And I went back when I was home, Tabitha, I was home in Miami this weekend. And I was listening to, and I forgot what station I was playing, and it came on. And when I tell you, when Body Mechanic came on Tabitha, I was home. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm home." And I had a whole thing, but Tabitha was like, "Yeah, that's probably more of a Miami thing. People outside of Miami probably weren't listening to that song, in other places." But yeah, because y'all were like, "What song are you talking about, LT?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a song." Tabitha knew because she a Miami girl like me. Thank you. Anyway, y'all, anything for the people before we get off, Ty and or Abby? I'm so behind. I owe y'all over the next day or so. I'm going to give y'all at least episode 3 of Blood and Water because I'm so behind. This weekend threw me off. Sorry. Been home.
I appreciate you for having me. I mean, I ain't saying much, but I appreciate you for having me. It's good to see everybody. Abby, you looking good. It just turned 12 o'clock. I was gonna say early in the morning, you looking good. It was good to hear, really good to see everyone in the comments. It was a good show. So thank you.
Wait, Dappy Child is still timing out people. Okay, Dappy Child, we'll have to time Joshua out anymore. He's not trolling anymore. Joshua just has some interesting opinions sometimes.
Indeed.
And that's what makes the world go round. It's different opinions, and the fact that we can all come together and discuss these opinions and be respectful. You can disagree without being disagreeable. Let's just say that. Let's normalize that. Let's normalize and disagreeing without being disagreeable and nasty towards one another. We don't all have to agree on the same things.
We have come it seems like we've come as a society to a point where if someone doesn't agree with you, they should be off the planet.
If anybody wants, because somebody DM'd me, I saw they wanted the video from the TikTok girl because they wanted to use it. If you want that video, just DM me. I'll send it to you in Instagram.
I just wanna smack her because girl, we was with you right up until
we were all rooting for you.
Oh boy! So if anybody wants to, thank you all for coming on and doing what you do. For those people who are in here that are YouTubers, go follow them, subscribe. I know we had Tabitha in here. Really B was on. So Jeff was on earlier. Mr. Pisces was on. Chocolate Bay was on. Mitch was on at one point. We had people come through here. Markel was on at one point. Thank y'all for the conversation. It has been a great time had by all. I enjoyed y'all. I enjoyed talking to y'all. Let me go to the people and be about the business of work.
I've been working this whole time.
I don't mind going. I just don't want to go. Anyway, Ty, I'm gonna call you in a little bit. That's all I got for y'all. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. And we'll have more things like this. We'll have more conversations as they come. And I got some stuff to get to y'all too. Oh no, you fine, Nappy Child. You are fine. Don't you are just fine. Anyway, that's why we have a mod squad. That's why we got mods around here. Anyway, until next time, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. We are out of here. Because I'm not gonna let you get up and twerk when you don't have anything on underneath. Dear God. No, we're not doing that.
Okay. Yeah.